sleep in a morning person's world, but the health advice is good for everyone. Keith Peters, Washington.
Tesla's annual profit has plunged to its lowest level since the pandemic. Some 5 years ago, company's bottom line suffered as it lost the title of the world's biggest EV maker to a Chinese rival. From here on out, Tesla's planning to invest more in robo-taxis and humanoid robots. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and we're broadcasting from Nashville. It is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. In studio, warm and safe, the original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael. Good morning, Crom.
Greetings, kind sir.
I understand you still don't have power.
That is correct. My house does not. I still have power, but my house
you
does
always
not.
have power. 90,000 houses on day 5 in Nashville still don't have power. Crom, it's time for the morning rundown, which is brought to you every day at this time by our friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So here we go. Here's the morning rundown for Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Number 1. Day 5 of the winter storm in Nashville, and still 90,000 houses in Nashville are without power. It's about 20% of all households in Nashville. Number 2, the woke Nashville Electric Service CEO, Teresa Broyles-Applin. You know what she was focused on? Sustainability, solar panels, public transit, and bike lanes. That was her main focus. But number 3, Crom, we have her own words. Teresa Broyles-Applin, the CEO, making $350,000 a year. She was not focused so much on tree trimming because, quote, I don't want us destroying the canopy. We'll play that quote for you here in our second segment. Number 4, Tom Homan held a press conference this morning in Minneapolis. And boy, we've got the clips of that. So there's a lot more to talk about. Oh, number 5, there was an FBI raid of the Fulton County, Georgia election ballots. Number 6, Marco Rubio took it to all of these Democrat senators. Tammy Duckworth, Tim Kaine, Cory Booker. They could not lay a glove on him. He's really, really sharp. So there you go. That's the morning rundown for Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Crom? You know, it's brought to us every day by our friends at the Glock Store. You know, I've been talking about the Glock Store for years. The Glock Store is everything Glock. That's why our buddy Lanny McGill, the CEO and editor-in-chief, CEO, I'm the editor-in-chief, Lanny McGill. I need more coffee, Crom. That's why the CEO and founder of the Glock Store. That's why he called it the Glock Store.
He oversees all their newsletters.
Boom.
He's a great guy.
You got me.
Fabulous.
Have you heard about the latest Glocks, the Gen 6s?
I have.
Lenny has.
Yes.
And he's put newsletters
out. Editing every one.
He tells me the new Gen 6 Glocks have a new optic system, the RTF6 texturing, an enlarged beaver tail, flat face trigger guard undercut, and an integrated thumb rest, also known as the gas pedal. I don't know what any of that means, but Lenny does. And Lenny tells me the Gen 6 Glocks are definitely the most refined Glocks ever produced. As you might expect, the Glock Store has already received their first shipment of Gen 6 G17s, G19s, and 45s. They were literally gone before they even arrived at the warehouse. That's because the Glock Store is letting you pre-order these new Glocks, so you'll be the one to get your hands on them first. And as a thank you for your pre-order, you'll get an extra magazine when you receive your new Gen 6 Glock. Crom, here's what you do. Go to glockstore.com, click on the Gen 6 tab at the top of the website, place your pre-order for the Glock or Glocks of your choice. When they ship your new Glock to the FFL of your choice, or you pick it up here at the Glock Store in Nashville, their retail showroom, the Glock Store will give you an extra magazine. It's a limited time offer, Crom, only for pre-orders and only from our friends at the Glock Store, the number one source for Glock parts, accessories, and the new Gen 6 Glocks. Visit glockstore.com today. I promise you'll be glad you did. And I'm told that, next week, Crom, you'll be here next week, right?
Yes.
when you're here a week from today, we will be celebrating the 9th anniversary of the Tennessee Star.
Wow.
And I'm told Lenny McGill has a surprise for us.
Oh.
So we'll see what
Very
that is.
cool. I'm looking forward to it.
And the big surprise may come with our 10th anniversary. I'm thinking, Crom, on our 10th anniversary.
That'll be in a year.
A year.
See?
I think what we ought to do, Crom, is we ought to go to the Glock store. You know, they've got a big facility there. And
They do.
let's hold
Very
a
nice
10th
facility.
anniversary party.
There you go.
We have enough time to plan for it.
Yes.
And maybe there won't be a storm. Crom, we'll get to the storm here in a bit, and the woke Nashville mayor and the woke Nashville Electric Service CEO and their mismanagement of the storm. But a breaking story today, Tom Homan, the border czar, was up in Minneapolis. Let's play his first and most important clip from that press conference, clip 26, just about an hour ago.
I'm also pleased to announce I had a very good meeting with Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon their release from the jail. And let me tell you why that's important. I know people are a lot concerned about the manpower has been set in law enforcement manpower. Look, I've said this many times before. I've said it for the last several years. Give us access to the illegal alien public safety threat and the safety and security of a jail. It's common sense. It's safer for the community, it's safer for the agent, and it's safer for the alien. Because anything can happen on a street arrest. It just makes common sense. And for the people that argue, well, we're a welcoming community because we want victims and witnesses of crime that are here illegally to feel safe to come to police without fear they're working with ICE, we're not going to talk to the victim and witness of crime. There's no problem there. They should feel safe to come to the police and ask for help. All we want is to talk to the person that local and state law enforcement authorities locked in a jail cell. They chose to lock this person up. That's who we want to talk to, the public safety threat.
Okay, so Crom?
And here's what's very interesting, and I think it's important to kind of say this, and there is a difference between a jail and a prison.
Yeah, big
and,
difference.
And that's very, very important because when people are arrested, the first stop they make is the jail.
County jail.
Yeah, once they are convicted, then they go to prison.
If it's a sentence of over a year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, in other words, they go to a prison, and so what Tom Holman, what he has done is he's got an agreement from the governor, from the mayor, from the attorney general, that any illegal immigrant that a city or state law enforcement person arrests and puts in jail, that those facilities will notify ICE that they have an illegal immigrant who has been arrested at the jail, because people who are arrested oftentimes get out of the jail pretty quickly. They get out on bond very quickly,
especially in Democrat cities.
Well, but so this way the people will not get out on bond. They will be handed over to ICE, and where they will be appropriately handled. Now, the other thing that I don't quite understand, Michael, and you may the press conference, because I've been listening to these various press conferences and reports in one thing or another. What about the illegal immigrant who has already received from the courts the order to leave? Final order of deportation. Right. They now should be leaving the country. So I'm assuming that at this point, those people, they're not arrested by the local authorities. And so they are supposed to deport because they've received their final order.
So here's how Tom Homan answered that.
Oh, good.
He was asked by a libtard, a reporter, about this. Does that mean you're going to deport everybody? And he said, look, if you have a final order of deportation, if you've entered the country illegally, even without a final deportation order, you're still on our list. but we have prioritized the list.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
And they've been saying that since day one.
And he
that
said
they
it
want to get the worst.
again.
The worst. Yeah. That's
Tom
good.
Homan is going to get the job done.
Yeah.
He's there for the duration. When we come back, let's talk about this mess in Nashville, the weather, and NES and the woke mayor. Back with Crom Carmichael after this.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Crom Carmichael. This winter storm has devastated Nashville. It's not been handled well at all by National Electric Service, nor by the woke mayor of Nashville, Freddie O'Connell. By the way, so just so people can understand, Nashville Electric Service was incorporated back in 1939, 38, I think, as a municipally owned electric utility. So it's owned by Metro Nashville government.
Mm-hmm.
And the mayor appoints the 5 board members. So that would be, of the current 5 board members, one is the wife of former Mayor Carl Dean, right?
Okay.
Who's a far lefty. And nobody on the board really has any actual experience in the electric utility power industry.
Why are they appointed then?
You'd have to ask the mayor.
Oh, okay.
And so they've been appointed by Mayor Cooper before, and now 2 of the 5 have been appointed by Mayor Freddie O'Connell.
How much do board members make? Do you know?
They don't make any money.
They don't make any money?
No.
But
they select the CEO.
So they may be worth the amount they're paid.
It would look like.
Could be.
It would look like. Now, I'll give you the latest. 20% of Nashville households are without power as we speak. Let's get this was from just about 2 hours ago this morning on WKRN.
This morning, we are seeing the slow progress in the effort to restore power to all of Nashville.
Now, those numbers continue to go down a bit since we even came on the air this morning at 4, but pressure on the utility is going up. Peyton Kennedy is here now with some of the questions that many homeowners have this morning.
Yeah, this is the highest percentage of customers facing an outage in NES history. Right now, about 90,800 customers still do not have power. The peak was 230,000 customers. NES says they're following their 3-step approach here: stabilize, scale, and accelerate.
Okay, now I'm going to throw up over that 3-step approach.
Let me ask you a question. When they say 90,000 customers,
those are households.
Is that 90? That's my question. Is it 90,000 households?
Yeah.
All right. Now, how many people live in a house?
So
on average,
probably 2.5.
Let's say 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say 3 people. Well, if 3 people live in a household, it isn't 20% of Nashville, because there's only 650,000 people who live in Nashville.
Well, let me give you some more information on that. They serve 440,000 households.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So,
but they serve not just Metro Nashville itself.
Okay.
Parts of the surrounding 6 counties.
Okay. So even though it's owned by Nashville, I
would say probably 85-90% still Nashville.
Okay.
Metro Nashville
Okay.
residents. But 20% out of power, Crom. Now, the big problem has been tree branches getting ice on them, getting heavy, breaking, and falling on the power lines. Last August, the CEO, Teresa Broyles-Applin, who has no operational experience whatsoever. She's a mid-40s graduate in age, graduate of Belmont with a master's degree in accounting. She was the CFO for maybe 15 years and then was appointed in 2022 by the board, which is named by the mayor, to be the CEO. She's very woke. Very woke.
And how do we know that?
Well, because she promotes sustainability. She was a big fan of bike lanes and said how great it was. She was a big supporter of the MOVE referendum that the mayor put together. She supports solar panels and, tree trimming is the most important thing.
Yes.
You can do. Well, she has an unusual idea about it. She was interviewed in August on News Channel 5. We have problems getting the clip up, by the head of the Urban League here. I think his name is Clifton Harris. He's one of the 5 members of the board.
Okay.
He doesn't know anything about power.
Okay.
Okay. He knows about politics.
Okay.
And in that meeting, she praised the company's prioritization of preserving Nashville's urban tree canopy through, wait for it, species-specific restrained trimming practices rather than aggressive removal. Her exact words are, quote, "I don't want us destroying the canopy," end quote.
Well, God does not agree with her.
No, God does not.
Because God has, in his infinite wisdom, destroyed the canopy that she didn't want to cut. Yeah. This reminds me a lot of the way that the left, which governs California, the left governs California. It's the way the left handled the forestry and forestry management, or shall we say mismanagement, by simply saying that nature does what nature wants to do. Therefore, we will not manage the forest. We will not clean dead wood. We will not clean the debris that ignites and is the energy for and fuel for massive forest fires. We will not do that because that would be against nature. Well, nature, there will be forest fires every so often, and if you have not cleaned, and there will be. I mean, there's nothing that government can do about that simple fact. There will be forest fires in California. If you have managed the forest properly, the devastation caused by the forest fires will be minimized. If you do not manage the forests properly, the devastation will be maximized, and it will be absolutely horrendous, which is what we have seen. If you do not cut the limbs that are hanging over power lines, I do not care what the species of the tree is.
I don't either.
I don't. If you do not cut the limbs hanging over power lines, every time there is an ice storm, which is not super often.
Every 5 years, every decade.
But it is completely predictable.
Yeah.
That every 10 years, maybe every 15, we're going to have an ice storm of this size. And when that happens, the tree limbs that you're trying to save are destroyed anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe even more.
If you take a look
maybe
at,
even
at
are destroyed
the
more.
Headline image on our lead story, you can see trees destroyed all over Nashville from the ice.
Yeah, and
so the branches should have been trimmed.
If the branches had been trimmed, then the limbs would not have collapsed because there wouldn't be as much ice and weight on the limbs because they would have been trimmed. If you get too much canopy on a tree and there's enough ice on it, the whole tree will fall over.
Yeah.
So that destroys 40 years of growth. So these are things, and this is where critical thinking is so important, and that's why it's a shame that. And by the way, I am not surprised that the people on the board of NES are well connected to the mayors of Nashville.
Yeah.
They like to be on the board. They're friends of the mayors. These are otherwise intelligent people, but they don't know what they're doing.
They have no idea what they're doing.
They have no idea. They
don't have any common sense.
It's like saying the mayor should appoint the head coach of the Titans.
Yeah.
And he picks somebody who has a financial background in football teams, but has no clue.
An accountant should not be running NES. I mean,
no, it should be somebody who understands.
The accountant should be the CFO.
Yes, the accountant should be the CFO, and an electrical engineer with management experience.
Bing, ding, ding.
Should be the CEO, and the board members, by the way,
should be similar.
Should be similar. They should have knowledge of what they're doing, because if they don't, then this is what happens.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right, Crom. What's interesting about this is if you look at it. Let me ask you this question: how many tree trimmers are employed by National Electric Service?
I don't know. I heard something where it's above 200.
The answer is 0 are employed.
Okay, excuse me.
It's entirely outsourced.
Okay.
And there's been a big deal over the past couple of years. They have cut down the number of employees at NES from like 1,000 something to 900.
Okay.
And now it is.
I'm not opposed to outsourcing a particular function. But what is important is when you outsource the function, you don't outsource the intelligence,
and you also outsource the capacity capability.
Well, and if you tell the tree trimmers who are now outsourced, I only want you to trim trees. This. In other words, if you tell them to not do the right thing,
there's another problem that NES has.
Yeah,
their text messaging is a disaster because we have multiple stories, Crom, of people who receive messages, text messages, your power's back on. They go back to their house. Guess what?
Their power's not on.
Their power's not on. I mean, we have multiple reports of this. Then, when they report it, they get to the bottom of the line again. Also,
oh my gosh.
I know.
Wow.
I will tell you also, there are some comments that
Now, by the way, I'm not blaming the line workers. These guys,
No,
the line
linemen are
workers,
working
the line
hard.
workers are probably
the
working.
management is a disaster.
The line workers are probably working 16 hours a day.
When
right
we come
now.
back, Crom, I want to talk about the media narrative about this Alex Preddy fellow who was killed.
Yeah. Okay.
What's his background? Is he a saint, as the left says, or did he have psychiatric problems? We'll see. Back after this. I've got the video of it.
Okay.
Back after this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
It's simple. No worker should ever be forced to pay money to a union boss just to get or keep a job. That's why hardworking Virginians overwhelmingly support right to work and agree that forced unionism is wrong. Unfortunately, right to work is under threat from radical state legislators who seek to overturn right to work and grant union bosses the power to have workers fired for refusing to pay union dues. Studies show that if they succeed in repealing Virginia's right to work law, it would cost the Commonwealth over 200,000 jobs. That's why it's vital to tell your legislators and Governor Abigail Spanberger to defend right to work in Virginia. With the General Assembly now in session, it's vital you make your voice heard today. Go to VirginiaRightToWork.com and demand your legislators and Governor Spanberger oppose forced unionism and protect right to work. Defend freedom and Virginia jobs today. Sign your petition at VirginiaRightToWork.com, paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging calcium alpha-ketoglutarate, which has been clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Carmichael, all-star panelist, the original Crum, let me just tell you, what I've noticed is that although there are now more kind of conservative news outlets, America First news outlets are there, it's highly fragmented. And the regime media, ABC, NBC, CNN, MS Now, MS Never, they are lying even more and more than they ever did. Let's take a look at this case of Alex Pretty. And of course, as you know, Crum, the first person who was killed by an ICE agent was Renee Good, the woman who drove her SUV at him, and he shot and killed her. And he was injured in the process. And then the Border, not the ICE guys, but the Border Patrol guys. Remember, the Border Patrol has a mission, which is to protect the border. Because Minnesota local police were not cooperating, the ICE guys that went in to get all these illegal aliens,
and they were told not to cooperate.
Yeah,
Let's be clear. We're not saying bad things about the police. We're saying bad things about the people who tell the police what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. So here's the thing on this. That's exactly right. So they brought in the Border Patrol guys to help out. Now, the problem with that is the Border Patrol guys are really, they're focused on border stuff. It's a little different than the ICE mission. But nonetheless, they needed the help. So this Alex Pretty fellow, who has been painted as a saint by the regime media, was killed. And now the details of it are still more than a little bit hazy. But the elements are, he had a gun. He had a concealed carry permit, which he did not have on his body at person at the time.
He had a gun, though. He had a gun on his body.
He had a gun on his body.
Okay.
He did legally have a concealed carry permit.
Okay.
And it was loaded, and he had like 51, bullets in it, basically.
Wow.
He had a magazine and,
Okay.
But it was fully loaded.
Okay.
And he didn't have any personal ID on him. And so there was a melee, and he was, trying to disrupt an operation.
Okay.
And
were there a bunch of other people disrupting at the same time?
There were others around, I think.
Okay.
But anyways, so people seen the video.
Okay.
The gun he had.
I have not, because I've been dealing with the ice. And the snow and other stuff. So I've not really. You're telling me stuff.
Sure.
In real.
A lot of people have seen it, but he had a Sig Sauer, and that was the gun he had.
Okay.
And there are various reports. It was unclear. Did he go for the gun? Was he going for his phone? There was a report that his Sig Sauer went off, and there's apparently the Sig Sauer has a problem with going off sometimes, and he was shot and killed by 2 Border Patrol agents.
Okay.
Now, this guy, they've presented him as a saint. He was an ICU nurse. He just did great stuff, et cetera, et cetera. I think Ana Navarro on CNN said, "This is the kind of guy you want your daughter to marry." That's what he said.
Okay.
Well, the BBC, of all folks, found a video of the week prior.
Okay.
Where this Alex Pretty fellow was literally attacking ICE agents.
Okay. When you say literally attacking,
spitting on them,
and physically touching them.
Yes, and spitting on them. And as their vehicle was driving away, he kicked it, and he kicked out the taillights.
Okay. All right.
And then the police officers came to arrest him, and they took him down, and allegedly he broke a rib. Let's play this clip.
Wait, and then they arrested him.
No, they didn't arrest him. They took him down. They should have arrested him.
Okay.
If they had arrested him, and he would have been alive today, we're going to have to bleep out a lot of stuff. But he used the foulest of language.
Okay, so this is him speaking.
Yeah,
that we're bleeping out.
Watch this clip right now. We're going to bleep. We're going to keep the audio low because we don't want to get a note from the FCC about his bad language. Here we go. This was January 13th.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretty interacting with federal immigration agents.
There's kicking.
Border Patrol
Now he's just broken the tailpipe. Now they come out.
Footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology
They take him down.
confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy.
Supposedly he broke
On the
his
morning
rib.
of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground.
Man, he's pushing him to the ground. Okay.
Okay.
So what? I don't know why. This is January 13th. I don't know why they didn't arrest him then.
Okay.
They should have.
Yeah, they should have for property damage.
But they didn't.
Yeah, but they didn't. But
And
they
now
should
he's
have.
dead.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on?
Well, I don't know
Alex Priddy.
I don't know exactly what was going on at the time that he was shot. I assume that there was something similar, maybe not kicking of the car, but it sounds like there was something going on.
Yeah,
what was going on?
There were reports that there was a woman who was being undertaken. Oh, there was a report that they were trying to obtain detain an illegal alien, and then a woman got involved in it, and then he got involved in it, and a melee ensued.
Okay.
He was trying to impede.
Yeah.
And by the way, that illegal alien they're trying to get got away.
Okay. Well, here's kind of the way that I look at this thing, Michael, and that is that I think that the way that you have to look at this is you have law enforcement and you have civilians.
Right.
And when civilians impede law enforcement or cause law enforcement to think that they are in danger, they are putting themselves at risk, and they're putting themselves at risk legally. In other words, they're doing things that put their own lives at risk.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because Ashley Babbitt, on January 6th
of
2021, was trying to climb through a window.
Ashley Babbitt was actually unarmed.
I was getting to that.
I don't think she was climbing through a window.
I was getting to that.
She was just walking.
No, she was climbing through a window.
Which window?
I don't know.
She was in the interior at the time.
Okay, well, all right. She wasn't just walking, but the point I'm trying to make is this: all I'm trying to do is compare. That's all I'm doing here. Ashley Babbitt was unarmed. She was unwarned. We know from the video and the audio that the Capitol Hill police officer who shot and killed her did not warn her, just pulled his gun, pointed it at her, and shot and killed her. We know that there was an investigation. We know from the investigation that she was not armed. We know from the investigation that the policeman claimed that he felt that his life was at risk. Okay? So who do you believe? Obviously, the left, who supported the policeman, believed the policeman, who said that he believed his life was at risk. Otherwise, you couldn't justify the shooting of Ashley Babbitt.
Mm-hmm.
So all law enforcement ought to be treated the same way.
Exactly.
And so in this case, it was very sad when Ashley Babbitt was killed. Very sad. It's very sad that Alex Priddy.
It is sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
That he's killed. But when you show up at a scene
at a law enforcement
operation
operation, with a loaded gun, and without ID and without a concealed.
Well, whether or not they asked him for his ID before they shot him or not is irrelevant to me. What I'm saying is if you show up and there's a melee and you get killed, you shouldn't have done that. That is not the Constitution. Says that you can peaceably assemble to express your grievances. The video that we saw of spitting on the policeman,
he was not peaceably assembling,
and kicking the car and damaging the car. That's not peaceably assembling. Now, should he have been shot and killed at that time? No, he should have been arrested. But when he shows up the next time with a loaded gun and there's a melee, it is sad that he was killed. But if it was sad that Ashley Babbitt was killed, and that the policeman who killed Ashley Babbitt was justified in doing so because he said he feared for his life, and was so fearful he couldn't even utter words to warn her. If that's the case, then you have to apply that fundamental principle to all law enforcement when there are melees going on. So that's the way that I look at it.
You're exactly right.
That's the way I look at it.
Now, obviously...
And by the way, the policeman who shot Ashley Babbitt has not been indicted. He was investigated.
He was cleared.
And he was cleared.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they still couldn't indict him and try him, because until you are tried and found innocent, there's no double jeopardy, and there's no statute of limitations on murder. So if the left says we're going to change the rules of engagement, then the first thing they need to do is go back and arrest that Capitol Hill police
Let's go
officer.
to this. This is relevant. Let's go to clip 4, actually. Let's go to clip 4. Because your point is well made, Crum. And the issue here is justice in a blue city, right? So can you get justice? Did Ashley Babbitt get justice in Washington, D.C., where, at the time, all the judges and the grand jury are hate conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to a degree in Minneapolis, but also here's a DA in Philadelphia talking about this.
We all know what time it is. We all know what this moment is, and we all know that things are happening that should not be happening, for which people must be accountable now or in the future. So I am delighted to be here with this team, and I am delighted to let people know that not only are we committed, and I'm sure there are many other prosecutors who will join us over time, but not only are we committed to living up to our oaths, to making sure that democracy is preserved, to the rule of law, not only are we committed to law and order when some federal officials whose paychecks we pay through our taxes are not, but we intend to see it through as justice requires in individual cases, now or in the future. And if we do obtain those convictions, and if there are sentences of incarceration or even of probation, the President of the United States cannot pardon them, period.
Okay, so he's a Soros DA.
Mm-hmm.
He was joined on that call by 9 other leftist Soros DAs, including the DA in Hennepin County, which is Minneapolis.
Well, I guess we're going into a break here, but I'd like to comment briefly on that.
We'll comment on that when we get back, and then we'll go to Trump accounts.
Good.
Back
Like
after
it.
this.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up at 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Lifestyles Unlimited is a real estate education group that gives you the roadmap and resources to start building income through real estate. You'll learn practical strategies for using investment properties to create extra income and make informed decisions, one step at a time. Join today for just $297. That's a 60% savings off the regular price of our real estate education program. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pouty. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pouty.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pouty, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Crom, you wanted to finish off your thought about equal justice.
Well, it's really where I asked you a question during the break. I said, do these local DAs, do they have authority over federal employees who do something in their capacity as a federal employee?
The short answer is no, because they have qualified immunity.
Okay, and so what he's doing is he says he took an oath to uphold the Constitution, and apparently he wants to abuse his oath.
I'm shocked.
So anyway, that was my comment.
It's a good comment.
Yeah, thank you.
Time to change the channel here. Let's talk about Trump accounts.
Yes.
Let's go clip 3. Let's play this information about Trump accounts.
So delighted to report that dozens of major employers have signed up to add the Trump account contributions to the employee benefit packages, including Uber, Schwab, Charter Communications, and many, many others. And just today it was announced that Intel, NVIDIA, Broadcom, IBM, Steak and Shake, Coinbase, Continental Resources, and Comcast have all signed up for really big contributions.
Okay, so the deal is every child born in America from January 1st, 2025, a year ago, until December 31st, 2028, gets $1,000 from the federal government into a Trump account.
That is funded by these corporations.
No.
Is that
funded by taxpayers?
Okay, well, then
part of the woke bill.
Then what was he talking about?
Additional
there?
Contributions.
Oh,
if you work for any of those companies, you'll get an extra $1,000 if you have a child.
How many babies are? So we're talking about 3 years.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years.
3 years.
3 years. Okay, so 3 years, and how many babies are born a year?
I don't know, 8 million, something like that. I think it's something like that.
Okay, that seems high. Seems high.
I think it's 25 million over 3 years. I think that's the commitment that Michael Dell made.
Okay. Well,
Michael Dell is also going to put, in addition to that, I think he's putting like $2,500 in.
Let me say this about the Trump accounts. I think the idea of a Trump account is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think what needs to go along with that is an education. I don't mean like a high school education, college education, but
how to use the money.
You have a Trump account, and I'm assuming that you're going to have choices on where that money's invested. Now, the choices will have a limitation to them, just like if you work for a company that has a 401k plan, that company will have the employee will have maybe 10 or 12 choices on how to invest that money, and each choice, obviously, if you have 10 choices over the next 10 years, one of those choices will end up better than the other 10. Nobody really knows which one that might be. But it's important, I think, to use the Trump accounts to help people understand where prosperity comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Because the value of markets only goes up in real terms. I'm not talking about if inflation goes up 5% and markets go up 5%, you haven't gotten anywhere. I mean, literally, you haven't gotten anywhere. But if inflation goes up at 2% and markets go up at 10%, and you're invested in the market, you have a net gain. It's very important that the people who are receiving Trump accounts have a way of learning how to think about what to do with that money.
The Trump accounts are tax advantage investment accounts, similar to traditional IRAs.
Yep. Okay.
The child is the owner. They gain control of it at age 18. At that point, when they have full control, they can withdraw funds subject to traditional IRA rules.
But who's making the decision during that first 18 years? Who's making the decision as to how that money's invested? And what I'm saying is that education, an educated electorate, an educated citizenry is good for everybody. And if you're going to give somebody money into an account that you hope will go up in value over the 18 years while the child is going from birth to 18 years old, it's important that the people who are making that decision, and if the parents are not making the decision, and I could understand that, but if they're not, and they're not being educated, then I think there's a missed opportunity, because the more educated a person is about finances, and just understanding risk and reward and why markets go up over time, and in societies where they don't go up over time, why is that the case?
Investments are controlled by the parents till the kid's 18.
Okay, well now
hold on.
Okay.
They're restricted to low-cost passive options for long-term growth.
Okay.
Funds may be invested in mutual funds or ETFs that track broad U.S. equity indexes, like the S&P 500.
Yep. Or the NASDAQ.
No leverage is allowed, and expense ratios are capped at 10 basis points or less.
So, Michael, let's just say, for purposes of this discussion, let's say that there are 4 options. I know there could be more, but let's say there are 4. And the 4 are, you're the parent, and the 4 are you can invest in the Dow Jones average.
Yeah.
You can invest in the S&P 500. You can invest in the NASDAQ. Or you can invest in the Russell 2000.
Yeah.
All right? The first thing most people are going to ask is, tell me about each one of those, because they don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's important that they know.
So I think I know where you're going with this.
I'm saying
Crom,
yeah.
You cannot have Trump accounts unless you have a financial education program for the parents and the kids.
Yeah.
And on that happy note, I don't know. I'm all for Trump accounts.
I am too.
If a kid gets 18 and they've got 50,000, 100,000 under control, they have agency.
Yeah.
Crom Carmichael, what a delight to have you here on this snow day.
Yeah.
I hope you get your power back.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right. When we come back, hey, we're going to talk more Trump accounts with Treasury official Joe Livarno, who was on Clay and Buck the other day. Now he's moving his game up to our show.
Oh, good.
Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's HealthyCell.com. HealthyCell.com.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
WJFN, W224EB, 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB, 107.7 Bon Air, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFV Portsmouth, AM.
This hour from Town Hall, I'm Rex Thomason. We've made a lot of progress in the last few days. That's Border Czar Tom Homan's assessment of talks he's held with state and city officials in Minnesota, including Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
If we get these agreements in place, that means less agents on the street. More agents in the jail means less agents in the street. This is common sense cooperation that allows us to draw down on the number of people we have here. Yes, I said it. Draw down the number of people here.
President Trump dispatched Homan to Minneapolis amid the turmoil over immigration enforcement by federal agents. The FBI investigating allegations of discrepancies in the 2020 election. The Bureau has served a search warrant at Fulton County, Georgia's election headquarters seeking ballots from the election. Disagreements over immigration enforcement could lead to a partial government shutdown at week's end.
The Senate has until Friday midnight to pass 6 spending bills, but Democrats are threatening to block funding for the Department of Homeland Security because of the fatal shootings by ICE agents in Minneapolis. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said Democrats are demanding reforms and that the legislation won't pass until ICE is reined in and overhauled. Republicans will need Democratic votes to keep the government open. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Man's been arrested for repeatedly ramming his car into the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters in New York City. The Hasidic Jewish Center was damaged, but there were no injuries. President Trump is turning up the heat on Iran, saying that Tehran had better agree to a nuclear deal with the U.S. or else. Stocks deep in the red this morning on Wall Street. The Dow is down 289 points and NASDAQ off almost 600 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. Now that we're finally into the new year, a lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans. Mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers. DBA Fellowship Home Loans. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 819382.
The U.S. is resuming aid shipments to Somalia.
The U.S. says it's lifting a suspension of aid to Somalia, saying Somali authorities have taken responsibility for actions earlier this month that disrupted aid shipments. The Somali government has not confirmed the U.S. claim. The U.S. State Department said on January 7th that it suspended aid through the World Food Program at the port of Mogadishu after Somali officials destroyed a U.S.-funded warehouse belonging to the WFP, which is part of the United Nations, and seized 82 tons of food intended for impoverished Somalis, including specialized food for young children and pregnant and breastfeeding women. The WFP earlier said that its warehouse was demolished by Somali authorities. Somalia's foreign ministry had denied the allegation. I'm Donna Warder.
The leaders of Britain and China are calling for a comprehensive strategic partnership. News and analysis, townhall.com. UPS has retired its fleet of MD-11 cargo planes.
The move comes just months after one crash during takeoff, causing 15 deaths in Louisville, Kentucky. The plane's left engine had fallen off the wing, and the plane was able to climb only 30 feet before crashing. The Federal Aviation Administration grounded all MD-11s after the crash. An agency statement this week said the FAA continues to review all the facts and circumstances in deciding whether MD-11s would be allowed to fly again.
Correspondent Bill Alexander. Although Wall Street's having a tough go of it today, few ripples washed through the market yesterday after the Fed decided to keep its main interest rate steady, just as investors had expected. The U.S. stock and bond markets each remained at a virtual standstill yesterday, while the U.S. dollar stabilized following its sharp recent slide against its peers. Precious metals prices, meanwhile, continue to skyrocket. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville. It is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. Yesterday, I had an invite to go to this event in Washington, D.C. I kind of wish I'd been able to do it. We've had a little bit of a snowstorm here, though, and everything is all goofed up travel-wise. It's still 90,000 households in Davidson County, Nashville, without power. I live in Williamson County. I've had power. We had about an hour outage on Sunday, so everything's been really, really good. But this Trump account thing, what a great event it was. And, well, let's talk about this. Basically, the Trump account, it's like an IRA for a kid. And under the big, beautiful bill, $1,000 every time a kid is born for the past year. They're actually set up on July 4th of this year. But if you're eligible for this, if you had your child was born between January 1st of last year and December 31st of 2028, if you apply for this, everybody should apply for it. I think Secretary Bessent of the Treasury at the event yesterday in D.C. said, I think he said, so far 600,000 people have applied for it. You need to get up to 10 million, maybe more, apply for it. The federal government will put $1,000 into, in essence, an IRA for your child, basically. $1,000. And that's the start of a fund that the child will get full control of by the time they are 18. So, a little forward looking. But if you think about it, 18 is a long time. Don't you think the kids today would have liked this? Now, let's work the numbers on it for a minute. If you get 5% increase every year from the time you're born, and you put that $1,000 will basically be $2,400 in 18 years if you get 5% return on it. Okay, so going to take a little bit. But having said that, let's just say instead of $1,000, so Michael Dell, I think he said he's going to put like $2,500 into a total of like 225 million accounts. I think it's like 8 million a year. 25, 26, 27, 27? Yeah, 27. So 3 years. And $2,500 times 225 million. I think he's putting in like 6.2 billion. Big amount. Let's just see what that would be in 18 years. So instead of $1,000, now every kid's going to have 3,500. 2,500 coming from Michael Dell. Ooh, that number will be 8,400 if it gets a 5% return. That's great. But along the way, if you are a corporation, you can make this an employee benefit and you can make contributions. And in the case of Dell and the federal government, it comes in like, year one or when you apply, right? But you can make additional contributions of like $5,000 a year, your employer, your family. And so let's just say your employer says, yeah, I'm going to match it, like Steak and Shake and many of these others. So let's just say you got the $1,000 from the government. You've got $2,500 from Michael Dell. That's $3,500. And let's say your employer, Steak and Shake or whoever, puts up $1,000 at birth. Well, that's $4,500 at birth. That gets to be almost 11,000 when you're 18. Now that's interesting, but that's just the start. Along the way, let's say a family friend puts in $500 a year, or $1,000 a year, or your employer puts in $500 a year for this account. President Trump is saying, okay, right now it looks like every kid would end up when they're 18 with about $11,000 in this account, which they would then control, but control in a certain way. In other words, if they take it out in cash, they have to pay taxes on it. but if they invest it, they don't. And I think they get to hold on to it to 59. It's almost like building a retirement for a kid, but it could be used for other purposes. Ted Cruz loved this. Let's play this clip of Ted Cruz right now.
You know, Senator, I want to start off with you. And we're going to go down the line, an extraordinary group of senators, congresspeople, governor. Senator, when I came and saw you, a little window into trying, being an ordinary citizen trying to get a law passed. You spend a lot of time. I had no lobbyists, no lawyers, but I spent a lot of time on Capitol Hill. And there are a lot of people who say, oh, this sounds like a good idea or whatever. But when I came and saw you, I saw a twinkle in the eye. And you said, we're going to make this happen. We're going to get drafting. What was it about this that so connected to your version of what had to happen in America?
Well, look, these Trump accounts are a big damn deal. I believe that the Trump accounts and the school choice provision are the two most far-reaching and significant elements of the entire working families tax cut that we passed last year. That is a massive bill, the biggest tax cut in history. There are a lot of good things in that bill. And by the way, Jason worked heroically drafting that bill. It is, without exaggeration, there are more conservative victories in that bill than I think any legislation that has ever passed.
Yeah.
And there's so many victories. I'm reminded of Trump saying, we're going to win so much you're going to get tired of winning. Look, I'm not tired of winning. But of all of the victories, I think the Trump accounts are right at the top. And
yeah, I do too. And let's think about this. Back to agency and human agency. And kids right now, today, many of them feel like they don't have any agency. They're in woke schools where they get woke propaganda, and they don't feel like they can control their own destiny. And they go to college, they get riddled with hundreds of thousands of debt. They can't get a job. Well, no wonder they're angry. I certainly understand that. But let's paint a different picture. You're a kid, and when you're 6 years old, and if your account now, your parents will sit you down and say, now, Joey or Susan, we've got an account for you. It's got $6,000 in it right now. And we're going to build it up over time. And by the time you're 18, you're going to have $50,000 in it. And Susie or Joey, you will control that money. You can do what you want with it, asterisk, right? I mean, if they take it out, it's like an IRA. There'd be some tax liabilities there. So it wouldn't be $50,000. But in theory, of course, a lot of financial management advice has got to happen between the start of the account and the control of the account by the kid. Because, I think you could see, let's think about this. Let's say, even if it's the bare minimum, let's say you've got this account and nobody does anything beyond the first year. You get, let's say you get $1,000 from the feds put into it. You get $2,500 from Michael Dell. He's going to give $6.2 billion for this. And then you've got another $1,000 from, let's say, the employer of your parents. That $4,500 grows to $11,000 by the time you're 18. So you graduate from high school. What do you not want to have happen? I want the cash now. All right. I'm going to take that $18,000. They'll take, let's say, $3,000 out in taxes. I got $8,000. I'm going to Jamaica for a month. Well, some kids might do that, and they'll be down to zero. Other kids are going to do different stuff. When we come back, I don't know if this is going to happen. This is the second time we've been bumped by Joseph Lavarno, the counselor to the Secretary of Treasury. He's been pulled into a meeting. Treasury Secretary Best. He's doing this to us all the time. He's promised this interview with us. Never got it. We'll talk more Trump accounts, maybe, with Joseph Lavarno when we get back.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
The math is simple. Every dollar we waste on unnecessary federal supervision is a dollar we can't use to fight violent crime. The Safer Supervision Act cuts bureaucratic waste and frees up law enforcement resources to protect families from serious threats. Law enforcement officers across the country and Republicans in Congress agree this is a smarter way to improve public safety. Stop the waste, protect our communities, fix federal supervision. Visit safersupervision.com to help. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, folks, I guess we're getting big time by the Secretary of Treasury. Secretary Besant has called in Joseph Livarno. I know you would rather hear Joseph Livarno as counselor here, but Joseph is hard to explain why Joseph Livarno would prefer to talk to his boss about emergency issue, Secretary Besant, than us. However, if he calls in, we'll go right to him. I do still have, I have that promise from Secretary Besant that he's going to honor someday. And I think I've told you this story. By the way, Besant is doing a great job. I'm just going to give him a little hard time here. He promised that when I spoke to him, and I do have his telephone number, which I've only called twice. And I haven't called since this last conversation because he is a little busy. But he promised me. He promised that his first exclusive radio interview would be with me. That was a year ago. We haven't talked to him yet. And Joseph Livarno has been taken by the Secretary of Treasury to talk. That's okay. We love Scott. Scott's policies, and he's doing a great job. But so we're going to change gears here a little bit. And we're going to talk about another terrific member of the cabinet, Marco Rubio. You know, Marco Rubio, interesting because he's got a terrific background. He went to the University of Miami School of Law, where a good friend of mine went. It did good school of law down in Miami. He's the grandson of a Cuban refugee. In fact, when he was 12 years old, he promised his grandfather that he would become president of Cuba someday. Might happen. He is very good. He's very good. He ran for president. He got elected in 2010. He'd been Speaker of the House in Florida, which is, as a young guy, it's a big deal. Then he ran for the Senate, and he got a lot of Tea Party support in 2010 and won. Now, we weren't crazy about, he was part of the Gang of Eight and some, amnesty-related illegal alien stuff in 2013, which I wrote about at Breitbart and stopped. Yeah, it was part of the reporting that stopped that. And then he ran for president in 2015, 2016. I remember a friend, Jack Johnson, here in Tennessee, was a big supporter. I went to an event here. Gosh, it would be in Williamson County, Tennessee, just before the 2016 primary. And Marco Rubio spoke there, and he was really quite good. I was impressed. I voted for Trump, of course, then, but still. The guy has been a spectacular Secretary of State, perhaps one of the best Secretary of States in the history of the country. And so he's a former Senate member, and he's been on the Foreign Affairs Committee. and all the Democrats are trying to, give him a hard time. You got to watch this masterclass on how to deal with somebody that's trying to do a gotcha on you. The way you do it is you're calm, cool, collected, and you address the facts. This is how his takedown. When Tammy Duckworth, the leftist senator from Illinois, the Democrat, tried to take him down, he just destroyed her. Clip 9. Let's see this right now.
Grave danger to the United States. Anyone who believes that gangs that flood our country with fentanyl or cocaine are not threats to the United States is not living in reality and certainly does not reflect the opinion of most Americans.
The president already said that he was ready to put American troops in Venezuela again. So we're internment law.
No, but we're talking about two separate things here. So you're talking about the state of Venezuela or are describing the regime. And we're talking about, but what the president designated.
Invoked the Alien Enemy Act.
I know, Senator, but let me be clear with you. No, but what the president was talking about are these gangs and these narco-trafficking groups that are waging war on the United States. There's no doubt. These groups have waged war on the United States. They have waged, for example, Tren de Agua is not just a criminal gang presence in our street. It is a criminal gang directly responsible for narco-trafficking.
The Trump administration has acknowledged that the vast majority of the men it rounded up and deported to torture under this law had no criminal records whatsoever.
We didn't torture
Independent, over 75%.
Who did we torture? We haven't tortured anybody. We've arrested people that are members of gangs and we've deported them. We don't want gang members in our country.
Independent investigations have found that many of the men were here legally. If the administration is willing to lie about who it's targeting under this law, what protections do totally innocent people have against abuse? Again, I want to ask you, will you advise the president to rescind his invocation of the Wartime Alien Enemies
No, of course
Act?
not. I mean, these are people that are threats to the national security of the United States. But I've described this in hearings in the past, including
So
before
you're
you guys.
saying that we're at war?
We are absolutely. When it comes to narco trafficking groups and criminal gangs that are targeting the United States for criminal
We're in a state of
activity,
war.
There's no doubt about the fact that we're confronting them in a war like that
Do the
because
laws
they're
of
waging
war
war on.
apply, and do the Geneva Convention
They're waging
apply?
war against us, and they're enemy combatants as a result of it. And the fact of the matter is that we are confronting these irregular groups, and that's one of the great challenges of the new century in this hemisphere in particular, is that these non-state actors who possess state-like capabilities in terms of their weaponry pose a grave danger to the United States. I don't think any American would dispute that we have cartels that pose a threat to the national security
with
of the
all
United
of the
States.
other laws of when it comes to warfare. I mean, you're saying that he can invoke this wartime power.
No, I'm saying, you're asking me, I'm here to discuss foreign policy and what's in the realm of the Department of State.
Well,
I think your questions are better directed at the Department of Justice.
Enemies Act,
but I would tell
which
you
is
that
a wartime, which is something that
but you're asking me a question that's
can be invoked during
All right, but
wartime.
you're
And it's
asking
only
me a
been
question
invoked
that's
during the War of
more-
1812, World War I, and World War II.
You're
It's only
asking
been
me a
invoked 3
question-
times, and this president is invoking it.
Okay, you're asking me a question about the domestic application of a law that's best directed to the Department of Justice.
It's
No,
not a
it is
complication, it's
because you're
very
asking me
simple.
something to opine on something that's in the realm of the Department of Justice in terms of its domestic application. I can tell you that the United States is most certainly confronting terrorist and criminal organizations operating in our hemisphere that pose a grave danger to the United States. Anyone who
Okay, so that is a masterclass in how to deal with somebody who's trying to gotcha. Notice how this Tammy Duckworth, who's not the brightest bulb, notice what she's doing there. She's interrupting him at every opportunity, but it's very, because I've been in these situations. I was, in the Tea Party movement, I was involved in basically, some MSNBC things. So I think, do we have a Joseph Lavarno on? No, we don't. Okay. I was on some MSNBC things, and they try to, gotcha. Okay, we got a call from Georgia. Here we go. You're on with Michael Patrick Leahy.
Michael, good morning, buddy.
This Leonard?
Marco Rubio. Yes, Leonard from Georgia. How you?
Dude, isn't Marco Rubio something else?
Oh, my God. But you're talking about just wrestling with a POS, this Democrats. Their mind's made up. There's nothing he can say to convince them otherwise. It just, I was driving, and it just hurts my stomach to listen to that lady.
Yeah,
but,
that's why, Leonard, that's why I played it that way. Because I knew...
You ruined my day listening to that. I was having a good old time listening to you, and then I said, oh, God, Michael, please stop.
Stop. No mas. No mas.
No mas. No mas, like Roberto Duran. But at first, I was never a fan of Marco Rubio.
Mm-hmm.
He came in a little rhinerish to me.
Yeah, I was the same.
Gang of 7. I chose Trump over Marco, when they were both debating, and he could have done better. I know if me and you were debating Trump, I said, listen, you're the master, you're the best debater in the world, so we're not going to go that route, because he would have probably been VP if he would have, been little Marco Rubio.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Good point. Good point. Oh, look, this is so early. It's an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it of you anyways, Leonard.
Go ahead.
When we look at 2028, who do you think would be best suited to carry the mantle of Donald Trump? Would it be Vice President J.D. Vance or Secretary of State Marco Rubio? What do you think? That's a hard one, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but I would still, support J.D. Vance as, VP and probably running for president.
Mm-hmm.
And then Marco can be his VP,
Yeah.
But I'm going to follow the chain of command.
Is that the dream ticket for 2028?
It would probably, be a great ticket. But like I said, J.D. Vance might not want to run, but,
No, come on. Leonard. if you, first, every United States senator wants to be president. Every member of the House of Representatives wants to be president. Every cabinet member wants to be president. Every vice president in history has wanted to be president of the United States. I'm telling you, J.D. Vance wants to be president of the United States.
Well, if he runs, I will support him over Marco. But if he doesn't run, I will support whoever runs. If Patrick Leahy decides to run, I'll support you, and I'll be your campaign manager. I'd be a great one, too.
Let me just add, if nominated, I will not accept. If elected, I will not serve. Okay.
You let me down. You're my best Caucasian ever, and you're backing down. Oh, my God.
Leonard, I'll tell you what. We have to have you come. You need to come to Nashville sometime. Have you in studio.
I will.
All right.
Yeah, me and my wife talked about it, and we'll
Sure.
talk to somebody.
Not this
have a great
week
day.
because we're out of power in much of it. All right. When we come
Yeah,
back, speaking of which,
talk soon.
Leonard, thank you for your call. When
You're
we come
welcome.
back, Tom Pappert with all the craziness and the failures and mismanagement by the woke Nashville Electric Services CEO, Teresa Broyles Alpin, and the woke mayor of Nashville, Freddie O'Connell. Back after this.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
It's not that all Somalis are criminal. It's just that 90% of these crimes are being committed by Somali Americans. And if you came to this country and you took advantage of the Americans' generosity, you committed fraud, and you refused to assimilate, you know what? I got 4 words for you. Get the hell out.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
The book needs to be thrown at these people.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges. And D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned. in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined on our Zoom newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, and the winner, along with our executive editor, Christina Botteri, and yours truly, of the Dow Prize for the best local journalism in the country last year, 2025. Might be another Dow Prize in your future, Tom Pappert. Thanks for joining us. This reporting that you've been doing about the woke CEO of Nashville Electric Service and the woke mayor of Nashville, Freddie O'Connell, and their mismanagement of this winter snow is stunning. And I just want to follow up. You've got another story about this. It's hard to believe, but you're working on a story with the headline, Nashville Electric Service receives consulting for DEI projects and initiatives from a field superintendent who recruits new employees. It's kind of hard to make up. This was on their agenda for what they're meeting this week. Tell us about that, Tom.
Michael, it was actually on the draft of the board agenda meeting that occurred last night on January 28th, 2026. So we are in the second year of Trump's second term in the White House. The entire federal government is essentially at war with the racist concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Nashville Electric Service is under scrutiny across the nation because they have up to 90,000 now people still without power 5 days after an ice storm. And what were they discussing? Well, they were discussing whether or not to renew and extend the contract for an individual by the name of Tony Williams, who was consulting for Nashville Electric Service on DEI projects and initiatives. Now, I couldn't find, and I'm still searching, we're going to find out exactly how much Mr. Williams might be being paid for his consulting services, but we did find that he is also something called a field superintendent for NES. And in this capacity, Mr. Williams is in charge, or at least has been in charge, of recruiting. In fact, in 2021, they were looking to recruit, I think, 15 different people. They were looking for like college graduates fresh out of school. So they send out Tony Williams to hold a few events to recruit. So you've got a DEI person where we know that they are DEI as an ideology places race above merit, and they put this guy out to go hire and recruit new employees. And again, still there, having his consulting contract extended last night.
Wow. Okay, so the CEO, Teresa Broyles-Applin, what do we know about her background, other than the fact that she has a hyphenated last name, like Deborah Wasserman Schultz? I don't know. She's got kind of the same hairstyle. She's basically promoted. She's an accountant. And what policies has she been promoting?
Well, Michael, her background is actually very interesting, and I think it shows that accounting degree some of our listeners might have, you just have no idea where it might carry you. So as far as I can tell, before going to work for the electric company, Miss Broyles-Applin worked for a nursing home and assisted living. She was their accountant. Then she went to go work for NES, and she eventually became their CFO. She worked there for years and years. In 2022, she became the CEO in April of that year, and by October she was making clear that her interest was in renewable energy, climate change, and fighting this horrible monster that we hear about so much on the media. She delivered an interview with an industry podcast to that effect, and this went on. She made sure to say that she would have room in her budget for renewables. In 2023, this came to fruition. In 2024, she made more comments like this, but her most recent comments last year were very telling, Michael. She was a supporter of the Choose How You Move transportation referendum championed by Fidel Freddy, the mayor of Nashville. She's very excited about how her employees at NES may be able to take advantage of the improved bus network. She also, by the way, big champion of solar energy and particularly the tax credits made available under President Joe Biden. She wanted to make sure everybody in Nashville got their credits to get solar energy. Now, what's interesting about this is in our research, we came across an interview with this CEO a year or so ago on News Channel 5, one of the panoptic media outlets, possibly the most liberal in Nashville. And in this interview, she talks specifically about the canopy. Remember, in Nashville right now, they're having to send out vegetation crews because there's so many downed limbs that they need to go in with chainsaws before they can go in and restore power in a lot of these situations. And she was talking on News Channel 5 about how, well, we don't want to take down the canopy. Quote, we care about the canopy. We have to live here too, and so I don't want us destroying our canopy. We do species-specific trimming. We take a lot of pride in making sure we are cutting trees in a healthy fashion. Well, Michael, those trees might not be doing so well right now as they've all snapped from a little bit of ice and wind.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, you compare and contrast other local electric utilities. Now, National Electric Service is, I think, the 11th largest electric utility in the country. It's pretty big. They're like 450,000 households. By the way, as we speak, 90,000 of them, 5 days into the storm, are still without power. That's 20%. 20%. And a lot of people that I know, I mean, I know one guy who lived in Green Hills, it's an affluent part of Nashville. They don't have power. He took his family to Alabama. Another guy in southern Davidson County doesn't have power. Got on a plane and went to Destin and is going to stay out there. Another guy doesn't have power. Well, many of the regular guests on our program don't have power. Some have got to go to relatives' house. Some are going to hotels. There's also, and I don't have any hard evidence on this, but our story, your story on this, by the way, about the woke CEO and her support of solar panels and bike lanes and public transit and sustainability on X, that has over 200,000 views right now. And about 200 comments. A lot of people from Nashville are commenting on it. One guy said, it looks like, and I'm just saying that, I'm just repeating the comment, it looks like the low-income areas in Nashville have been prioritized for power recovery. And the affluent areas are the last to get power. We know Belmead is out, parts of Green Hills. These are the affluent parts of town. I mean, it's a fact that those are the ones that don't have power. I don't know if it was an intentional plan, but given the focus on DEI and sustainability, kind of raises that question. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, it does, Michael. And just as you were speaking, the thought occurred to me, is it that the nicer part of town had the fancy trees that this woman wanted to preserve?
Mm-hmm.
Heaven forbid we damage the canopy in the nice parts of town. So let's go ahead and do the responsible tree trimming in some of the lower income areas. And then us rich folks will just have to suffer from the consequences of our poor planning. But I would not be surprised. In fact, just before we hopped on the air, I was reading her most recent ESG announcement, the companies. And of course, there was a letter from the president. And it stated how interested and how dedicated they were to making things more affordable for their low-income customers. In fact, she probably had 5 paragraphs of a 10-paragraph letter talking about how the company prioritizes its low-income customers. So I would not be surprised if that speculation turns out to ring true.
Yeah, it's interesting, Tom, and we are getting all sorts. These are reports. I can't tell you. I've got dozens and dozens of reports. Their communication system is dreadful. they've decided to modernize, and they're using text to communicate with people. We're getting dozens of reports that customers are getting text messages. Hey, your power's back on. And they go back home, and guess what, Tom? Their power is not back on. And then through this automated system and phone call, they call up and say, hey, my power's not on. Oh, we'll put you at the bottom of the line for that. Politically, now Nashville itself is about 65D, 35R. What do you think of the politics of this? Is this such a disaster that it's going to hurt Mayor Fidel Freddie O'Connell's reelection? Because he's basically been feckless in his management of this. It's like the woke guys, they can't get anything done, obviously. Is it going to hurt his reelection campaign? A. B. Will there be pressure to replace the board members who selected the 5 board members named by the mayor, who selected Teresa Broyles Applin, the accountant, who really loves protecting the canopy, but hasn't been very good at restoring power? And will she be fired? 3 questions. What do you think?
Michael, it's very interesting. I don't think it's going to go well for Mayor Freddie O'Connell because he's in a very difficult predicament. He has the core activist class of his city, the same type of people that were storming Tim Walz's office in Minnesota just a few days ago. He has that activist class very unhappy with him because Freddie O'Connell has not gone as crazy as Mayor Fry in Minnesota. He won't go as crazy with ICE. And so this activist class is upset. They don't think the transportation referendum is the panacea to all of the city's problems that he seems to think it is. And meanwhile, now you're going to have some of these more mainstream, moderate, reasonable, you can sit down in a restaurant and have a conversation with them type of Democrats, realizing that maybe this Freddie O'Connell guy isn't the manager we thought he was. Maybe he isn't appointing the right people to certain boards. So I do think that you're going to have a situation where O'Connell maybe now no longer can count on his activist base, the blue-haired fringe, but now also can't count on the moderate Democrats that are needed to get Democrats elected into office. Now, whether this results in any sort of rearrangement of the board, I don't think Democrats are bold enough to go after the very carefully and diversity-emphasized board members that have been picked. But should the General Assembly get involved, I could see that change.
Stick around, because you said the magic word. Should the General Assembly get involved? ... We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the comparative performance of other electric utilities here in Middle Tennessee, which has been far superior to Nashville Electric Service. Wonder why? Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are a $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
For years, the Europeans have underestimated President Trump time after time. But at every turn, he's been right. On energy, on NATO, on foreign free riding. It's time they pay up. That's why he's cracking down on foreign countries that don't pay their fair share for American medicines. Renegotiating trade deals for the prescription drugs we invent. President Trump is ending the foreign freeloading, making Europe pay their fair share.
Paid for by Americans for Limited Government.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
These illegal skill games, they keep popping up. Fights break out. They're illegal. We got drugs. We got gangs. They're all over the place. How do you get illegal slot machines in convenience stores when Governor Youngkin, you vetoed it? And no referendum, nobody passed it. How are they still here?
At the end of the day, it is local Commonwealth's attorneys that have to bring the cases against the establishments and to get them out. And so, yes, I vetoed bills. The high court has said that they can't be there. And on top of that, our attorney general has done a full investigation. And we go back to our Commonwealth's attorneys in so many jurisdictions refuse to enforce the law. That's the bottom line. They protect the criminals at the expense of the victims. And that's why, again, elections matter. We have got to elect prosecutors who will put people in jail.
This ad paid for by Churchill Downs.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Tom Pappert joins us on our Newsmaker Zoom line right now. Tom, here in Tennessee, it's a tale of two electric utilities. One being Nashville Electric Service, which, by the way, has 440,000 customers, 90,000 of them still, actually 91,000 as of this morning, are still out of power, so 20%. In contrast, and we haven't heard at all any public communication from the CEO, the woke CEO there, Teresa Broyles Alpin. In contrast, Middle Tennessee Electric, which has 359,000 customers, not about 80% or so of what Nashville has. Nashville Electric Service serves mostly Nashville, and then fringes of the surrounding counties. Most of the surrounding counties are served, including Rutherford County, Williamson County, and Wilson County, are served by Middle Tennessee Electric. To compare and contrast, let me play this clip. Again, about 3 times a day, we get a video clip from the CEO of Middle Tennessee Electric with an update. Let's play this clip right now. Let's get started.
Hello, members. Chris Jones from Middle Tennessee Electric coming to you again this evening to update you on our restoration efforts in the wake of the ice storm. And I'm thankful to say that we are at completion. We are at end state. And if you're among the handful of members who remain out, we're on the way by tonight. If you've been out for multiple days, you are the priority among the handful that remain out. So a crew is already assigned to you. You may see them there already. Our outage map on the website isn't completely clean. There are still some situations out there too where we cannot restore service completely because electric equipment at the premise belonging to the homeowner needs attention by an electrician before we can safely restore service. And we've been working to get the word out about those kinds of situations throughout this event. And there is likely to be a few additional ice storm related outages as this cold air persists and a reinforcing burst of cold air is coming our way for this weekend. So we'll be continuing to work, but essentially we are at end state, I'm very thankful to say.
Yeah, and what the numbers are, out of 359,000, I think like 130 are out of power. Now, also, I've seen reports here. This is interesting. Let me pose this question to you. Are there more trees in Nashville than there are in the surrounding suburban counties? Is that the problem? Or is it, I saw this report. Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say maybe more poorly trimmed trees.
Bingo. There also is a report that in the lead up to this storm, for the past couple months, in anticipation of a likely big storm, Middle Tennessee Electric has aggressively gone out tree trimming. Aggressively. That is in marked contrast to Teresa Broyles Applin, whose policy is we don't want to destroy the canopy. Let nature destroy the canopy and put the power outage. I don't think you can be more stark in the comparison of these two. Your thoughts, Tom Pappert?
You know, Michael, I know you do the night school thing. Many years ago, I took a night class that was about public relations, and it's just something that I think has come in so much handy as, I've embarked on this career as a public figure, even a marginal one. And one of the things we had to do was crisis management. We had to practice crisis management, Michael, and that involved role-playing. And I remember one role-play event that I had to do was I am the spokesman for the local animal shelter. We just had a fire, and all the animals are dead. And the media is grilling me about our mistakes. It occurs to me that this Broyles Applin person apparently never took this night class. Nobody at Nashville Electric Service took this night class. They have no idea what to do in terms of communication in a crisis. Whereas the competing company, that was perfect. You get out, you give everything you know, you fill in all the gaps, and you say what you're waiting to learn more on, and you promise that you'll be back with more information as soon as you can. It really is a tale of two companies, and I think that this is probably what happens when you're more concerned with DEI, with political relationships and alliances, than making sure that the customers actually get what they're paying for, which is power.
Let me just, this is in contrast, the messaging from Teresa Broyles Applin. She's not on video. She put this out 56 minutes ago. Many of you are waking up to day number 5 without power, which is a significant hardship, you think. It's our job at NES to keep the power on, and we will not stop until every household in Nashville has power again. The storm was unprecedented for Nashville and our country. Blah, blah, blah. At the storm's peak, 230,000 Nashvillians were without power. Today, we have less than 90,000 homes remaining without power. We've quadrupled our workforce in a few days, from 200 to almost 1,000 line workers from 9 states across Tennessee. We do expect power will be restored for thousands more households today and tomorrow. For many, power will not be restored through the weekend or longer. We are prioritizing large blocks of homes and moving as quickly as we can. That's not exactly a warming message. Your thoughts? We got a minute left, Tom.
I would be just furious if I received that message this morning, especially if I woke up in a hotel room because I couldn't stay at home due to a power outage. No, I think it's pathetic. I think it shows there's been a fundamental lack of preparation, and it shows what happens when you live under Democrat rule. It's a risk, it's a serious one, and it's hazardous to your health.
And she's afraid to go on camera, unlike Chris Jones of Middle Tennessee Electric. Big mistake. Tom Pappert, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure.
We'll be back with Aaron Goldbergson. What's going on with the Tennessee General Assembly? They're not convening this week, but they will be in next week. Back after this.
The J. Fred Media Menu. Now serving hot takes of Rob Carson.
I predicted that this wave of patriotism and joy and now a godly movement has been put on light speed, and young people, Gen Zers, are turning away from sex and booze and turning to church and God and family. And these guys, this Democrat Party, they're dying like movie vampires, grabbing, clawing, trying to drag us into hell with them. And we're not going, and we're not going, and we're not going.
The Rob Carson Show, weekdays, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on J. Fred's Media Network.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Democrats are changes are made to federal immigration enforcement. That's after a pair of fatal shootings by ICE officers when they were threatened by demonstrators. The administration's border czar Tom Homan says they are making some adjustments.
The mission is going to improve because of the changes we're making internally. No agency or organization is perfect. President Trump and I, along with others in the administration, have recognized that certain improvements could and should be made. That's exactly what I'm doing here.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended the administration's foreign policy yesterday during testimony on Capitol Hill.
Appearing before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Rubio staunchly defended President Trump's military operation to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, and he claimed there's good and decent progress being made in that country. For the most part, Republicans praised the Venezuelan operation, while Democrats were skeptical and wanted more transparency. Rubio also discussed the administration's approach to Greenland, NATO, Iran, and China. Greg Clugston, Washington.
More winter weather on the way for some parts of the East Coast.
Right now, it's looking like it's mostly going to be across like the Carolinas into the southern mid-Atlantic.
Even as much of the country is still digging out from last weekend's storm that left dozens dead and hundreds of thousands of people still with no power.
At the Mississippi state line in Hardin County, Tennessee, the county's emergency management director says people are prepared to manage a couple of days without power, but they can't go on much longer than that. There are more than 96,000 homes and businesses without power in Nashville, Tennessee. Forecasters say sub-freezing temperatures will continue in the eastern U.S. into February, and a new influx of Arctic air will arrive this weekend. I'm Donna Warder.
More at townhall.com.
Have you noticed losing weight is harder than it used to be? You're eating better and exercising, but the scale barely moves? The real problem isn't willpower, it's metabolic dysfunction. And standard dieting just makes it worse. PhD Weight Loss has helped thousands fix the root cause of stubborn weight. Take their free metabolic assessment at fixmyweightloss.com. Fixmyweightloss.com. It's quick, personalized, and shows why your body is resisting weight loss so you know exactly what to fix. Visit fixmyweightloss.com. That's fixmyweightloss.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
And now with the Midday Wall Street Business Report, here's Rich Thomason.
So far, we've seen mixed results from big tech. Meta shares jumped 8.8% after the company behind Facebook and Instagram cruised past Wall Street sales and profit goals. Tesla rose 2.2%, while Microsoft shares slid nearly 7% overnight. Apple reports after today's closing bell. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says the outlook for the U.S. economy has clearly improved and that the labor market stabilized since the Fed's last meeting. With that in mind, the central bank has decided against another interest rate cut at this time. Precious metals, gold has pushed to new heights, jumping another 4.3% to $5,530 per ounce. Silver has also set a record. It rose nearly 5% to $119.07. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Vietnam and the European Union have agreed to upgrade ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership as both recalibrate their trade during the disruptions caused by all the global finance issues and tariffs. European Council President Antonio Costa made a big announcement today in Hanoi.
We are elevating our relationship to the highest level, a comprehensive and strategic partnership. This upgrade fully captures the depth and breadth of our collaboration to date and our expectations for its future evolution.
The upgrade places the EU on the same diplomatic footing as the U.S., China, and Russia with regard to Vietnam. A federal judge has refused to block a winter oil and gas exploration project in the National Petroleum Reserve in Alaska. Opponents claimed the project was improperly analyzed. More of these stories at Town.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We'll get more into the storm here in Nashville and how the woke CEO of Nashville Electric Service, the one and the only Teresa Boreals-Applin, just put a statement out and is getting totally torched for her tone deafness on it. Remember now, Nashville has a total of 440,000 households that it provides electric service to. As of this morning, still 90,000, or 20%, are out of power. Here to talk about that is our very good friend, the head of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, the one, the only, Aaron Gulbinson. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning. You been having fun on the ice and the snow and all that jazz?
We're doing okay. My house in Williamson County was out of power for like an hour, and Middle Tennessee Electric has done a great job on it.
Yeah.
But the whole team, they were out proactively early before the storm, trimming trees. They weren't worried about damaging the canopy the way that the woke CEO of Nashville Electric Service has been, so Teresa Boreals-Applin. That was her priority.
I saw
and
that,
bike lanes.
I saw that piece in the Tennessee Star, and I know you were just talking about how tone deaf it was, but I wanted to hit my head on a table when I was we didn't want to damage the canopy. I mean, it's just...
Let's not damage the canopy.
And because, I have this image in my head going, well, is there a spotted owl somewhere, too, that you was worried about, which is an old reference.
Or a bike lane?
Yeah, or a bike lane.
She's been pushing the bike lanes with Fidel Freddy.
No, I mean, it's understandable if you're like in a community or an apartment complex or whatever, and you don't get the opportunity to go and do everything you need to do to the trees. But it was pretty well known that, at least 2 days prior, that it was going to be bad ice.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Actually, Bill Maher said this about Donald Trump. So, and Bill Maher said, and he was doing a podcast, and Tim Allen was the guest. And he said, if Trump sees a problem, he wants to fix it. And, of course, Bill Maher has had many public fights. He's a lot nicer to Trump now than he used to be.
Yeah, the dinner didn't hurt.
And Bill Maher also said, now you could disagree with his solution, but what drives Donald Trump is fixing problems.
Yeah.
And I thought that was probably one of the best observations that has been made about President Trump. And certainly one of the kindest things that Bill Maher's ever said about Donald Trump. But so all that to say, I don't understand when you have these woke bureaucrats and power company and just in any phase of life where you're just like, well, we could fix the problem, but I don't want to damage the canopy. I mean, this is akin in ridiculousness this in a different way, maybe for pure comedic effect, to when the story came out that, you know, Rand Paul was whining about being disinvited from the White House picnic. I mean, so it's we don't want to help people. We don't want to make sure that the power is still on, so we're not going to hurt the canopy.
The CEO of Nashville Electric Service is selected by the board. There are 5 members of the board. None of them have any electric utility operational experience at all. They're all woke. Carl Dean's wife, the leftist, is on the board. The head of the Urban League, who knows nothing about electric utilities, on board. The board is named by the Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Named 2 of the 5. The other 3 were named by his predecessor.
And you would think that a woke leftist would do everything in their power to prevent more ice being around.
Boom. That's it. It's well done. But here's the thing. Now, Teresa Broyles Applin is an accountant. She is an accountant, right? And we love accountants. We need accountants. But the accountant should not be running your electric utility.
No.
An accountant should not be running the 11th largest electric utility in the United States of America. And she's woke.
Yeah.
She's all for sustainability and solar power. They just now, Tom Pappert reported, they are renewing the contract of a DEI specialist. This was on the board meeting last night. And she said publicly, well, we do species selective vegetation management. And, oh, by the way, we don't have any tree trimmers. We outsource all that. Now, some of that may be standard, but what they didn't do is anticipate the storm and get out and start cutting down the tree trims. They didn't do that because she said in August in her interview with this Urban League guy who's on her board, oh, we don't want to destroy the canopy. I mean, they don't. Woke people, woke political leaders cannot solve problems because they don't have any common sense.
No, this person apparently must think that ice should melt at 30 degrees as well.
Well,
which is a reference to a lovely tweet by Candace Owens. But anyway.
So here's the thing. Now, Middle Tennessee Electric, which serves Wilson County and Rutherford County and Williamson County, a lot of the donut counties. Almost as large as Nashville Electric Service.
Yeah.
All right. There's 450,000 households. 450,000 households served by Nashville Electric Service. And there are 359,000 served by Middle Tennessee Electric.
Yeah.
Now there's only 100 or so in Middle Tennessee Electric without power. Of the 440,000 Nashville households without power, 90,000 homes are still without power. That's 20%.
Yep.
And in contrast, Chris Jones, I don't know his background, but he looks like he's an electrical engineer type guy, right? He's the CEO of Middle Tennessee Electric. About 2 or 3 times a day, he does a 3-minute video with an update. We've not seen Teresa Broyles Applin, who kind of looks like separated at birth from Deborah Wasserman Schultz, by the way. But she put out a very lengthy, self-serving statement. This storm was unprecedented for Nashville and our country. At the storm's peak, 230,000 Nashvillians were without power. That's actually not correct. Nashville households.
Yeah.
Right? So they probably, that was more than half were out of power.
Well, I'm happy that that I am serviced in Wilson County by Middle Tennessee Electric. So when power went out, it was out for an hour and a half.
They're doing a great job. But her post on X is getting torched. Here's what Robbie Starbuck said. Shameful how badly you've botched this. Call Middle Tennessee Electric or competent Florida utilities to get advice and help on how to do this properly, since you clearly have no idea what you're doing. Here's Katie Mulrain. Please communicate which neighborhoods should expect to be out of power past tomorrow. Your team is failing in terms of communications. Please be leaders and push NES to communicate more diligently and transparently. Yeah, we do expect power will be restored for thousands more households today and tomorrow. But for many, power will not be restored through the weekend or longer. Oh, my goodness.
Meanwhile, you can drive most places at this point in time, and the
Yeah.
roads are pretty good. I mean, as I tell everyone to give advice on this, the smartest way to drive is to pretend there might be black ice and don't drive like normal, but you'll get most places fine at this point in time.
Here's what Kryptonite said to the CEO, the woke CEO of National Electric Service. It's easy to say that when you're not eating cold canned food, can't shower or work, just watching the clock, checking updates every 15 minutes and trying to sleep in the freezing cold, only to wake up and realize the nightmare isn't over.
This is what happens when you have a woke system that hires amongst its own. I mean, and this is from top to bottom with Davidson and other blue areas. They're no longer. There was a time where they may have had their agenda, but they tried to find people to do the best job in certain things like power.
Crazy. Okay, when we come back, what is the Tennessee General Assembly doing this week? I think they're staying out of the cold, but we'll catch up. It's a revised game plan. Aaron Goldmanson will tell us back after this.
Hi folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, TIREGET.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Aaron Goldberson, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, and the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition. Just a note for our listeners: we both have the mountain man in a snowstorm attire on today, appropriately.
I don't know. Can we talk about Tim Waltz later? Because I want to, since I'm wearing like the flannel shirt, just want to go. I don't think so, Tim. Anyway,
Tim, crazy. Well, let's talk about the Tennessee General Assembly. The storm has disrupted every operation of the Tennessee General Assembly. Didn't convene at all this week.
They didn't. And so, all the members, it's a big state. So the members on the weekends go home to their district. And, they're all home. And also they have aides that would have to come into work. And a lot of the people that work at the General Assembly are dealing with a lack of power at the moment. But the Senate was proactive and said they weren't doing anything this week. The House took a little more wait-and-see approach where they were saying, we're not going to be in Monday and Tuesday, might come back Wednesday, and then on Wednesday they announced, okay, we're done the rest of the week too. So, yeah. So if you want to know what's going on in the General Assembly, pretty much the same thing every average citizen has been going through all week.
Weathering the storm.
Yeah, weathering the storm.
Now, Monday.
By the way, and unless people, to shatter some people's images, I can tell you that a number of members of the General Assembly, particularly, and I think they've posted about it, but members of leadership have been without power for several days.
Oh yeah, and they're not happy about it.
In the House specifically, but yeah, they're roughing it like the rest of everybody. So.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because, I think one of the things we're going to get back to on that is Nashville Electric Service is a municipal utility.
Yeah.
It was organized in 1938. The board is appointed by the mayor, 5 members of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And the Democrat mayors have appointed people on the board who know nothing about electric utilities. They know about politics.
Yeah.
They know about law.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to manage an electric utility. And that board has selected Teresa Broyles-Applin, the accountant, the woke accountant, to be their CEO. She makes $350,000 a year, by the way, and they just approved a DEI contract.
There's a old phrase in Wall Street that was popular, particularly during the mid 2000s, and I'm sure this existed before that. But it was called "mess up to move up."
Yeah,
it's a censored version of it. But so that's what I think of when I hear that this person is making $350,000 a year to not do her job.
To not do her job. Yeah, it's pretty. Now
maybe she'll be mayor one day.
One of the things, maybe Freddie O'Connell might have trouble getting reelected. Because this is his doing.
Didn't one of the
this is his team.
Didn't one of the Democrat council members announce?
Yeah. We didn't check in. It didn't seem to be somebody with any real political staying power, but maybe. Now, this is such a disaster. It is so bad that I think you may not be able to recover from it politically.
Well, unfortunately, the only thing dumber than one Democrat voter is a whole group of them, which is why they keep electing Democrats.
But here's the thing:
blue cities.
The state legislators from Davidson County asked the governor to send in the National Guard. Apparently, the National Guard's coming in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently.
Is there a single Republican state legislator?
There is.
Not named Mark Pody that bridges into Davidson County?
Just Mark Pody.
Oh.
But here's the thing. Right now, I think that the Tennessee General Assembly may look at the organizational structure of NES because it was chartered under state law. Not getting the job done.
Well, it's just another sign, and I'm going to continue my advocacy for this. At some point in time, I think the state of Tennessee needs to take over the finances of Metro Nashville. And
we think.
We have Mayor Mumpower and title.
I think you might be right about that.
That needs to happen because this is just ridiculous.
So let's take a look at the agenda now for next week. I understand Governor Leahy will deliver the State of the State on Monday.
Yep.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Tennessee General Assembly will convene on a Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and the bill filing date, which was the date by which all of your bills had to be filed, has been extended from today, January 29th, to Tuesday, February 3rd. That makes sense to me. Because, I mean, everybody is trying to figure out, how can I have power?
Yeah.
How can I have internet?
Yeah.
Power being the most important.
And you can file a lot of bills online, but, they're with their system and all that. But, if you don't have power. That just makes sense. That's just kind of a housekeeping item. Most of the members of the State House has a 10 bill limit and the Senate doesn't.
Is it 10? I thought it was 15. It's 10 now? It's 10. Okay.
Pretty sure it's 10.
Okay, I'm with you. But there's no limit. But the Senate, there's only 33 members of the state Senate, 99 House
By the way, this is also the period of time where the House members really, really like the Senate members because they're bugging them all to get their
co-sponsor.
Their co-sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why you have a bicameral state legislature. You turn up the heat with the House and you kind of cool it down with the Senate, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. So, no, and I personally think, given the fact, I don't think you're under any obligation to fill your slate of bills.
No, and actually, I think the fewer bills pass, the better.
Yeah.
Now there's a need for many bills.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. We talked about this likely being a shorter session.
Yeah.
Because it's an election year and they can't campaign while they're in session. I think we're talking about maybe ending late March, early April.
Yeah, something like that.
Do you see that changing at all with the storm?
I mean, not really. I think what you'll see in order to keep to that is there'll be a few days where the session, the floor sessions go a little longer, and the committee hearings go a little longer, and that sort of thing. And all the constituent meetings and advocacy meetings that were scheduled for this past week are going to get scattered about the next few weeks. So, at the end of the day, once they get to the final item, which is going to be the budget, if the House and the Senate come to a pretty quick agreement, and it won't extend anything. I mean, that's really what
I think you're
see
exactly right. Because the driving factor here is reelection.
Yeah.
And a desire to get out there and, be campaigning.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely right.
And that is across the board. That is
Democrat. It's bipartisan.
That is the Democrats who want to get out. Heck, even, I would love to see what the final tally is going to be on Justin Pearson's vote missed record this year, because of course he's running that primary against Steve Cohen.
Is it going to be 100%?
How
close to 100% will it be?
Probably pretty high. But and then you've got your and then even the fringe legislators that have ours next to their name that really do a lot with the D's that I will ad nauseum say things about, but they want to get out too because they got to run for re-election. So, I'm sure in some weird corner of the world, the conspiracy world, it's like, oh, they want to get out. No, they all want to get out of session as quick as possible.
Yeah, to get re-elected.
And the truth of the matter is, our government passing less laws than a year before is not a terrible thing.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the agenda here. Mm-hmm. It sounds to me like this whole package of bills to cooperate with the federal government on immigration enforcement, I think they're all going to pass.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And basically, I think it'll be, pretty strong, frankly.
No, there's going to be the immigration package is going to pass. There's other things that I think will be proposed in the next few days as part of that, or adjacent to it that'll pass. Some version of expanding school choice is going to pass. And then, you got a plethora of various bills. By the way, this sprang out of an idea I had a few years ago. but State Representative, and this is on the child trafficking front, State Representative Jake McCalman, and I don't remember the bill number off the top of my head, but one of his slate of legislation that he filed, what is today? 2 weeks ago, and the Senate co-sponsor is Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson, is a bill that has basically tells the schools to incorporate an age-appropriate how to avoid being trafficked in the school as part of the family life curriculum. So that's a thing I think is important in there, which is good.
And we'll have more to talk about. There is an education initiative with many elements that we'll talk about later that I think has got a good chance of passing. And all very important. Oh, by the way, on education, did you see this? Colin Kaepernick got a contract with Metro Nashville Public Schools to do an AI woke communications pilot project.
Yeah, I hear he's going to be the new CEO of the power company after this too.
Boom. Well, I don't know what to say about that other than that's a pretty good line. When we come back, a reckoning for 2020 fraud, election fraud in Georgia. The FBI was down in Fulton County. We've got the clips. Back with Aaron Culbertson after this.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Gulbranson, also the executive director of the Tennessee Conservatives Coalition. Aaron, the election fraud chickens are coming home to roost. And, we reported on this in Georgia, basically back in 2020. There were over 600,000 ballots placed in the ballot boxes that were not verified and had no chain of custody. Right. None. And yet they were allowed to be voted on. Turns out Fulton County, which is Atlanta, was the worst of it. Here's the news yesterday. The FBI, we have this clip. The FBI went down there yesterday. Let's see what happened.
Hi, everybody. Listen, I know you're watching the news. You're seeing a lot of stuff about this FBI raid at the Fulton County elections and registrations. I'm on the inside right now. So I just want you to be like real discerning about all that you're hearing from people who are on the outside of what's going on. I'm going to give you the truth about what's happening. So they served a warrant, the FBI, this is Trump, serving a warrant to go pick up the 2020 ballots, which are in a secure location inside of here, 700 boxes. The first warrant that they gave was incorrect legally, like they didn't follow the right procedure. They went back and they fixed it, and they came back, and now they are actually collecting the boxes. They are in the chain of command in Fulton County is that once they are archived, they become the possession of the clerk of Superior Court, which is Shay Alexander. She is here and she is with them inventorying everything that they're taking. We, the commissioners, the chairman, the county attorney, are trying to figure out a legal plan as to maybe an injunction, a motion to quash. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. We're getting all kinds of legal advice to stop this, because once they have the ballots, how do we then turn around and do something different when they've already got their hands on it?
Okay. Well, once they've got the evidence that there was fraud, what are we going to do? Says the Democrat commissioner in Fulton County. Crooked. That clearly, the president was right. That election was stolen, and we know that.
Yep. Because
of these, absentee ballots that were in the ballot boxes. Stuffed in the ballot boxes.
Well, they created a perfect storm. And of course, the thing that bothers me about this is life and politics in general. But you were covering this in detail, and the Tennessee Star and the related outlets were covering this in detail in 2020. I was working on this with another organization and also providing details on what was actually going on. Unfortunately, some of the grifters out there were able to feed into the media narrative that this was nuts that any fraud happened, because they were saying outlandish things like, there was a bunch of ballots at an Air Force base in France, and the truth was bad enough. I don't know why people, other than their lust for money and fame, decided to spread untruths. So
John Solomon at Just the News was working with us back in 2020 when we documented all this. Here's how they're reporting it. FBI searches Fulton County election hub more than 5 years after Georgia 2020 election probe began. The FBI searched the Fulton County election hub and operations center on Wednesday, more than 5 years after Georgia's 2020 election probe began. The raid comes amid the Department of Justice's lawsuit against Fulton County over 2020 election records, and years after the governor referred the audited November 2020 election results to the Georgia State Board. Biden won by 11,000 votes, certified votes. But as we said, 600,000 of these votes that were dropped off in the mailboxes.
This is also
we're not they had no chain of custody.
This is also worth mentioning that there were 2 U.S. Senate races on the ballot.
Good point. And we lost them both.
And they're both in Democrat hands right now.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Steve Bannon talked to some people who were on the ground as this was going on. Let's play this clip.
MSNBC is in full and total meltdown, Garland, because they have no earthly idea what this is all about. They have no earthly idea why the FBI would be down there. They have no earthly idea why a federal judge would sign a search warrant. They have no earthly idea what the MAGA war room posse has got the building surrounded right now. Tell our audience what's going on, sir.
All right, so we're down here at the Fulton County election hub and warehouse, and this is where the FBI executed their search warrant today for the 2020 ballots. And as you know, Steve, the elections records never added up in Fulton County for 2020.
Okay, well, the connection's a little bad there, but this is 5 years. 5 years. Now let's look at the timeline on this. This happened not only in Georgia but other of the states. Wisconsin, in 2020, Trump lost by 20,000, and they allowed 230,000 mailbox dropped votes, ballots to be collected. That was illegal, by the way. Arizona, the margin was 11,000. Clearly, the 2020 election was stolen.
Yeah.
And now there's going to be, some legal repercussions. But what's interesting about this is when I knew our legal system was in trouble because in December of 2020, the state of Texas sued the state of Georgia.
Yes.
For violating these laws. And it went to the United States Supreme Court.
That was kind of the last gasp and last hope. Actually, it was not kind of. It was.
It was the last gasp. And what happened was the Supreme Court refused to take the case because the majority of the members of the Supreme Court at that time, including Amy Coney Barrett, who's kind of redeemed herself somewhat since, but he said that the state of Texas didn't have standing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Clearly, the state of Texas had standing.
I as I joke, I'm only half a lawyer because only half of what lawyers say go over my head. But I did. I wrote a series of memos on that.
You spent a year in law school.
I did, and I've worked with so many attorneys in my life that it's kind of absorbed by osmosis. But no, I mean, I remember eagerly anticipating and actually working on analysis of that and having meetings with rooms full of lawyers while we were disseminating that information of what should be happening here. And then, of course,
it didn't happen. Yeah.
The consensus at the time was Roberts didn't feel like dealing with any controversial
again,
election cases.
The Supreme Court changes over time.
Yeah.
I think if this were to come up again, similar circumstances, I think they'd have a different rule.
I will say this. As bad as 2020 was.
I know where you're going.
Well,
I know where you're going.
Well, actually, there's two ways I can go with this. I'll go with both.
Go both ways.
I do think that the Trump 2 is actually better in now as we're sitting here in 2026 versus what, Vance as vice president versus Mike Pence, things like that.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather look at the future of the Republican Party with a Vance at the helm versus a Mike Pence running for president in 2024.
Well,
after that,
Pence might have, had he been reelected.
But it
would have been Pence in the lead.
It is an element of optimism about the American system that there could be something so broken in 2020 and so corrupt and and terrible. But that something like that would often lead to the collapse of probably leads to the collapse of any other country.
Yeah.
And yet we did, the wrong was righted just 4 years later. So that is as much as the world is dark and truly deeply dark in so many ways, especially when you listen to talk radio and hear about all the terrible things that are going on and, power outages and woke transgender craziness. It is worth taking a step back and going, this was terrible in 2020. There still needs to be a lot more done to make sure it never happens again, and an ever vigilant thing. But it is worth spending a minute to think about the resilience of our country, in large part, because of our Constitution and a lot of good people out there, and the determination of Donald Trump to never, ever, ever stop fighting, that we at least turn the tables just 4 years later.
Yeah, good point. And now, alternate histories, abound. What would have happened if?
Yeah.
What would have happened if, Trump was reelected and he's out and Pence was in, for instance?
Yeah.
Would we be better off than we are today? I don't think so.
No, I actually this is the only use I find for AI. And by the way, I do think we're in a sad era with where people are using ChatGPT to write all of their social media posts and even ask Chat. I've heard of politicians asking Chat how they should vote on bills. That's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So, but I did ask Grok on X, do a simulation of what would have happened if President Trump had stayed in office.
Oh, really?
And
you did.
It simulated things, and essentially the short version is it did have Pence winning the presidency after coming out as vice president, but basically being a third term of George Bush.
Yeah, exactly. A third term of George W. Bush. No kidding. Which would not be good. Now the fundamental problem we face right now has been the resistance, the insurrection of blue states to enforcement of immigration laws.
Yeah.
And we see the uprising in Minnesota. Tom Homan is out there now.
Yep.
I think Tom Homan is the right guy to fix it.
Yep.
But that is, if you look at the future of the country, step one, getting the border secured, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Trump did it in like a month. Boom. Well done. But now we have, of these 20 million illegals who are here, how many? 3 million they're all criminals.
Yep.
Some have.
You're a criminal
convicted.
the second you walk over the border,
Yeah,
and then you're an egregious criminal when you break other. Yeah.
Yeah, but of those 20 million, maybe 3-4 million are hardened criminals who've done more crimes. We got to get them out, and we really ought to get everybody out. It's a prioritization problem. If there had been a President Pence, he wouldn't have been doing any of that stuff now.
Yep.
But it sort of forced the issue. And the issue is blue states and blue cities don't want to comply with federal immigration law. And they want to impede it. And we might as well face it right now, it seems to me.
I mean, listen, you could see the root of the crime problem that comes from the illegal immigration issue. You could see the fiscal drain it is on our society to have an illegal immigration problem.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these are just bad Supreme Court precedents that have been set, and it's not just the crime problem, but it's prosecuting crimes and housing people in prisons and jails is a drain on the taxpayer when now it's easier in certain cases and it's harder in blue states to deport these people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is a very basic problem that it's really sad to say that Republicans, the policy of the Republican Party is to have U.S. citizens here in the United States, and the policy of the Democrat Party is to have non-U.S. citizens here in the United States. And that seems to be one of the biggest distinctions between both parties right now.
When we come back, News Potpourri. He's Aaron Gobinson. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Back after this.
This is Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Aaron Colmanson, the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, is here in studio. Aaron, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
What you got for me?
So, I think at this point, there's been a viral video. The bananas and rice Somali woman who literally said something along the lines of, what is it like to be Somali? It's kind of like bananas and rice. Well, after she just said it's not like just bananas and rice.
She said it was like, she illustrates the fact that the average Somali IQ is 68. Right.
Is that actually true, by the way?
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, my God. I thought it was dark humor. No. All right. Well.
But she said, well, what's it like being a Somali American?
Right.
Well, it's not like eating bananas and rice. And then 10 seconds later, she said it's exactly like eating bananas and rice, which I don't know what that means, but go ahead. You have an update?
Do we have, like, hockey helmets we're giving these people? Yes. This is on Fox News and in pretty much everywhere at the moment, but viral bananas and rice Somali woman arrested for allegedly participating in Minneapolis riot.
Assaulting federal officers.
She was assaulting federal officers. I don't know if she was throwing bananas at them, and it also remains to be seen if the jail cell in which she's currently sitting in will serve bananas and rice for lunch and dinner.
Boom. Tim Walz. I will never serve elected office again, he says. Yeah, I think you're going to the Gray Bar Hotel.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Tim Walz.
I think he's going to the Gray Bar Hotel, don't you?
Is the state of Minnesota becoming the new Illinois where, you get these... yeah, it really is, actually.
Actually, the governor, if you're governor of Illinois, the next stop is federal prison.
Somewhere Blagojevich is sitting there going, dang.
By the way, speaking of governors of Illinois, of Minnesota, you would like this. What did Jesse Ventura?
Oh, he was a crappy pro wrestler, but go on.
He was a crappy pro wrestler. He also was governor, elected as an independent, like 20 years ago.
The Reform Party.
He said now he doesn't like all this, a roundup of illegal alien criminals. He says he thinks Minnesota ought to join Canada. Any thoughts on that?
So I have a number of people that know Jesse Ventura, and he did serve in the military, and quite frankly, and thank him for that service, and quite frankly, they think he went a little nuts because of that. Fun fact, Jesse Ventura was known as the guy in the 80s who tried to unionize what was known as the WWF, and Hulk Hogan caught wind of it, and he told Vince McMahon, and that was the end of it, which is why Jesse Ventura was out of favor for the longest time. The Reform Party was able to win that gubernatorial election in 98, maybe, I want to say.
4 years.
Yeah.
As governor.
Because they actually were able to ratchet up the youth vote back then. So...
kind of parallels.
Yeah, no. And also, Jesse Ventura wanting to... I think that's a dreadfully insensitive comment, saying that Minnesota should join Canada, considering about 1/3 of the United States joined Canada when it came to weather and temperature this last week.
Yeah. Also, there's a big convention in Calgary, Alberta, because they actually make stuff there. And they have cattle, they have oil resources. There's a movement there. Alberta, the province of Alberta, wants to leave Canada. A lot of people there want to leave Canada.
Speaking of Canada, by the way, I have a personal bee in my bonnet about something.
Tell me.
Have you heard about this mini woke lefty phenomenon that is now airing on HBO called Heated Rivalry?
Oh, don't even go there. Don't even go there.
And I will just say the author, this is what spurred this is a series of books because a Canadian woman decided that hockey was homophobic. And she wanted to humiliate hockey players and real hockey fans like myself and have a series of 8 books or so that was about closeted gay hockey players.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen, by the way. The NHL is one of the least woke things in the world, although I would really appreciate if Governor Haslam decided to do away with Pride Night with the Nashville Predators. But I do know that the Detroit Red Wings do not do Pride Night. And
yeah.
So there's that.
Exactly. Okay, so Tom Homan, the president set him in to basically get Minneapolis squared away. I think he's doing a good job. And
Homan's great.
They tamped down all of the anger a little bit.
Yeah.
They got a concession from Keith Ellison. He said county officers may work with ICE to turn over illegal aliens in their custody. Yeah. May, which gives Hennepin County, the jails there, which is Minneapolis, a little leverage. They may or may not, right? So that may or may not work in tamping things down.
By the way, I had dinner with Tom Homan, I don't know, a year or two ago, and I mean, he had nothing but wonderful things to say about our General Assembly leadership and the laws they had already passed when it came to tracking illegal immigrants in jails. And that,
he did this press conference this morning. It was like 7:15 Central Time. A
Yep.
very smart thing to do, because he was out there and it got ahead of the news cycle for the day. And Tom Homan was just Tom Homan.
Yep.
Which is okay. It's just common sense. He was very good. There's a bit of a power struggle within Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Sort of the Kristi Noem, Corey Lewandowski crowd versus Tom Homan. I know where you're going.
Is Corey involved in this? I didn't know that. All right, anyway.
Well, Corey is the special advisor to the Homeland Security Secretary. I know the reports are that level of advice involves more than would usually be considered. Is that a good way to put it? This is a vulnerability that she has, I think.
All right, well.
Look, here's my prediction. She'll
see me at Zany's on Sunday for my real commentary on this, because I'm not saying it on the radio.
That's a smart thing to do.
I'm not going to be at Zany's, but anyway.
That's where you could hear the punchline.
I am considering doing a few open mics over the next year to explore
I think that'd be kind
comedic
of fun.
Talent.
But for now, that's the end of our show for today. Thank you for joining us, Aaron.
Good to see you as always.
Rob Carson's up next. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And I hope you have a great day. The website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Thanks for joining us.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door that that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent a career, my entire career, in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.